So a brother and a sister started selling dog toys from their mum's garage in regional Australia. Now 3 years later, they're doing over $600,000 per month. They've won national business awards and they're shipping to 2 countries. It all started because their dog kept destroying every single toy within just hours. And so for those that are new here to the channel, my name's Sasha Karabut. I've helped hundreds of people build 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands from scratch. Tom and Molly Wescott are 2 of my clients who went from absolute zero right on to building a $500,000 plus per month brand, Happy Staffy Co., one of Australia's fastest growing pet brands. And what makes their story even better is that they had no experience, right? No budget. They started in the middle of nowhere in rural Australia. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how they did it, the product research that led to their winning idea, the store decisions that they made that made their customers actually buy, the TikTok strategy that exploded their brand organically, and then the scaling moves that took them up to $500,000 plus per month. Let's get right into it. So Tom used to actually breed staffies, and look, if you've ever owned staffies yourself, you know they destroy almost everything. So he would go and buy dog toys from pet stores and from Amazon, where he'd read these reviews, and then he'd pick the toys that were labeled as indestructible, and then his dog would proceed to rip them apart in hours. He spent hundreds of dollars on toys that would never last. And then the worst part was he was constantly worried about his dogs swallowing pieces of those destroyed toys. So Tom started looking for better options. He joined this, Staffy owner Facebook groups, read through hundreds of Amazon reviews, and everywhere he looked, he saw the same complaints. Other Staffy owners super frustrated that they could never find toys built for power chewers. This right here is Tom's product that I'm talking about right now. And that's exactly when Tom realized that this wasn't just his problem. It was a great market opportunity. Staffy owners were desperately searching for a solution, but nobody was making products specifically for them. So Tom did what most people, to be honest, never do, and he validated the demand before building anything. Here's exactly how he validated it. First things first, he went deep into Staffy Facebook groups, read through months of posts where people were asking for recommendations. Which product should I buy? Have you tried this product? Does this one even last more than 1 week? Secondly, he checked Google Trends, searches that people were making for indestructible dog toys, and he saw this interest was growing year over year. Thirdly, he analyzed Amazon reviews for existing dog toys, and he found the same complaints repeated hundreds of times over again. The demand was proven because the problem was real, and nobody was solving it properly. So basically, Tom found 3 things that every winning e-commerce product needs. Number 1 was a painful problem that people actively complained about. Number 2 was a unique angle because no one else was targeting staffies specifically. And then 3, the margins were good enough to spend money on ads and still profit. So when you find all 3 of these in one single product, you've got something that's really worth building. So Tom teamed up with his sister Molly, who had some marketing experience, and they made the decision that changed everything. Instead of building, another general pet store, they went ultra specific by choosing to become Australia's only dedicated Staffy store, selling these incredible products that are indestructible. This decision was critical because it made all of their marketing easier, and they weren't competing with Chewy or Pet Barn. They were in this kind of micro niche that they completely own themselves. Now, most beginners, they would have found cheap dog toys on AliExpress, slapped a logo on them, and then called it a brand. But Tom and Molly, they knew that that wasn't going to work. If they wanted Staffy owners to trust them, right, they needed to create something that was genuinely better than what was already in the market. So they designed this guy right here, the Chewzilla toy. It's made from something that they call tough tech nylon, specifically engineered for power chewers. Designing a product like this is easy, but getting people to actually believe it's different is the hard part. Because here's the thing, Staffy owners had been burnt before, and they've already bought dozens of toys that promised to do what this guy did, but they were not. So what Tom and Molly did was something brilliant. They backed their product with a 90-day replacement guarantee. If your dog destroys the Cheezilla product, they replace it for free, no questions asked. And so think about it, right? How powerful is that statement? Most dog toys, they don't last a day, right? The dog destroys that thing straight away. Think about offering a 3-month guarantee. That wasn't just a marketing tactic, that was real confidence in their product. And it completely eliminated that buying risk that most customers have. But they didn't stop just there, right? Before launching publicly, Tom and Molly tested everything with their own staffies. Every product they sold had to survive their own dogs first. Then they sent samples to other staffy owners and asked for honest feedback. Based on that and based on real user experiences, and by the time that they launched the product, they had proof the toys worked. This testing phase is what most people skip, right? And they rush to launch and then they wonder why nobody trusts them. Now, Tom and Molly didn't, try and sell to everyone. They didn't market to all dog owners. Instead, they only talked to Staffy owners. Their entire brand, from the name Happy Staffy Co. to the product descriptions, was laser focused on one audience. And when you speak directly to one specific group, your message cuts through. Once they had the product really dialed in, Tom and Molly then needed to build a store that actually converted customers, right? And here's where most people mess up. They spend weeks on obsessing over font colors or logo designs or animations, but Tom and Molly kept it really simple. They used Shopify with a clean, basic theme, but what they focused on was making the store feel trustworthy. Because remember, they were unknown. Nobody had heard of Happy Staffy Co. yet. So every element of their store had just one job, which was to build trust fast. And so here's what they did that was really accurate. First things first, their product photos showed real staffies using the toys and not stock images on random white backgrounds. Secondly, their descriptions explained exactly why the Cheezilla was different, not just generic stuff about the quality of the product. And thirdly, they added that 90-day guarantee front and center on every single page. Fourth, they collected email addresses from day one with a simple pop-up, offering a 10% discount for first-time buyers. What I want to do now is break down their product page structure because this is critical. At the top, they had their clear headline that spoke directly to the pain point. Finally, a toy your staffy cannot destroy. Then they have high-quality images showing the toy being used by real dogs. Below that, they explained the 3 key benefits: made from tough tech nylon, backed by a 90-day guarantee, and designed specifically for power chewers. And then they showed customer reviews, even though they were just starting and had to use tester feedback initially. And finally, one clear call to action button: get your Cheezilla. Now, the genius here, to be honest, is just simplicity. They didn't overwhelm their visitors with choices with 15 products all over the pages from day one. They launched with one hero product, which was the Cheezilla, and they built everything else around that. Because when you're starting, to be honest, less is more, all right? You need people to understand exactly what you're selling and then why they should buy it in under 10 seconds flat. Now, Molly realized really early on that their target audience, staffy owners, were extremely active on TikTok. These people, they love posting videos of their dogs and staffies, entertaining. They're crazy funny to watch, right? But most brands on TikTok, they make this huge mistake. They try and sell too hard, or they post like these product videos that look like ads and people just scroll right past them. So what Molly did, she understood that TikTok is not about selling, it's about entertaining first, building trust second, and then selling third. So what she did was she started posting content featuring their own staffies testing these products, like videos of dogs going absolutely crazy for these, Cheezilla products, slow motion shots of staffies like chomping down on toys, before and after clips showing toys that survived versus the ones that got destroyed in just a few minutes. And the content, look, it wasn't polished, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't crazy high quality, it was raw, it was very authentic, and it was relatable. So Staffy owners, they saw themselves in those videos. So what she did is she used a proper content strategy by posting 3 to 5 times per day consistently. And not all the videos were about products. Some were just like funny Staffy moments, okay? Some were about training tips, others were just like community shout outs. But sprinkled in between were videos showcasing happy Staffy products in action. And so the key here was the ratio. For every product video, she posted 3 to 4 entertainment value style videos. And so this kept the audience very engaged without feeling like they were being sold to constantly. And here's what most people don't understand about TikTok. The algorithm, it doesn't care about your follower count. It cares about engagement and the amount of people that like or comment on your stuff. So even with 0 followers, Molly's videos started getting views by thousands of people because Staffy owners were watching them all the way through, commenting and then sharing them to their friends. One video would go semi-viral, bringing hundreds of new followers, and then another video would hit off exactly the same. Then this cycle really repeated. Within 6 months, Happy Staffy had over 700,000 followers across TikTok and Instagram. But the real magic, listen close to this, when Molly started encouraging user-generated content, she asked customers to send their videos of their Staffies with Happy Staffy Co. toys. Then she reposted them, giving the credit to the owners. So this did 2 things. It made customers feel valued and part of this community, and it gave Happy Staffy Co. this endless stream of authentic content without Molly having to create everything for herself. So they now became the community's brand. By this point, Happy Staffy Co. was getting consistent sales, but Tom and Molly knew that to hit 6 figures plus per month, they needed to scale intelligently. And scaling isn't about, just spending more on ads. It's about making the right operational decisions at the right time. And so what most e-commerce businesses do is they scale too fast, they run out of inventory, they lose momentum, or they stay way too cautious and they weigh up every dollar, they don't reinvest profits, and then their growth just stalls. But Tom and Molly had to navigate this carefully because one wrong move could kill every single thing that they'd actually built. So they followed a simple reinvestment rule. They took 70% of their profit and they put it back into inventory and ads, and they kept 30% into increasing the business's cash flow. This meant in the beginning, they weren't making much personally, but the business was growing fast. And as the revenue grew, so did their own income. And so here's the exact scaling framework that they used. First things first, they validated demand with small batches of inventory. Once that sold out, they ordered larger batches based on actual sales data and then projecting that forward, not guesswork. Second, they started running Facebook and Instagram ads alongside the TikTok organic content. They kept their ad spend conservative at first, around $50 to $100 a day. Then as they saw consistent returns above 2.5 times ROAS, they increased 20 to 30% every few days. And then third and lastly, they expanded their product lines gradually, okay? Once the Choozilla was proven, they added complementary products like treat dispensing toys, tug ropes, even Staffy apparel for the owners. One of the most important decisions that Tom and Molly made was around $100,000 per month. And what they did is they decided to bring all of their inventory and supply chain in-house into their own warehouse. And what this meant was slightly higher upfront costs, but also shipping and handling to the customer was much, much better and much control of the whole system, right? Australian customers got their orders in 2 to 3 days instead of sometimes 5, 7, maybe even 10 days. And that faster shipping led to better reviews, which led to more sales. Now, 3 years after starting in their mum's garage, Happy Staffy Co. is now consistently doing over $500,000 plus per month in revenue. They've sold over 1 million Choozilla toys, shipped to Australia, the US, and the UK, and they've built a social media following of over 700,000 people. But the numbers don't tell the full story. Tom and Molly won the Most Outstanding Business Award in Albury-Wodonga Business Awards. They've created jobs in their local community, and they've built a brand that staffy owners genuinely love and trust. And that, to be honest, is what real e-commerce success actually looks like. So now, look, let's wrap this up. Tom and Molly did right by finding a specific problem in a very specific niche, and then they validated demand before building anything. Out of it, they created a genuinely better product, and then they backed it with a strong guarantee and then a content strategy. But most people will watch this video, they'll think it's inspiring, and then they'll do nothing. They'll wait for the perfect idea, the perfect time, the perfect conditions, and they'll still be waiting around about this time next year. So if you want to build something real in e-commerce, the opportunity is sitting right in front of you. It's not about being perfect, it's about being specific, solving a real problem, and then executing consistently. That's really it. So if this clicked for you, subscribe, because I'll be dropping more breakdowns on exactly how to find your winning product and then scale your brand to 6 and 7 figures. I'll see you on the next one.